Hi, it's Sally-Shakti. Throughout Imbolc, I've been reading my poems from the book Unholy, 33 Sonnets for Brigid, that I wrote during Imbolc 2019. And I wrote them one a day, roughly, throughout that season in 2019. And I've been reading them one a day on my videos and my social media, but I've lost track of a few and I haven't read any for a while. Some of my favourites haven't been read yet. I'm almost at the end of Imbolc, so I made a decision to share with you the whole book in this video. It's a fairly small book. They are experimental sonnets, so each is a poem of 14 experimental lines, often collaged between bits of my own journaling and other poems, writers, books I've been reading at the time, newspaper articles, whatever found text was available to me. And I'm sitting here by the fire in front of Brigid's sacred flame, the hearth. Brigid being the Celtic goddess of this season of the year, Imbolc, the triple goddess of smithcraft, poetry and healing. I heard Carly Mountain say on a podcast interview recently that a poem could be a container for alchemy, like a crucible for change, and that's definitely what I intend these poems and all of my poetry, all of my writing to be. That crucible, that container where the heat of alchemy and transformation is possible and can happen. So this is Unholy, 33 Sonnets for Brigid. It's dedicated to Brigid, Tony and Ollie. And it's by me, Sally-Shakti Willow. Written in Imbolc 2019 and published Imbolc 2020. The cover artwork is by Joe Evans, Quirky Joe, and it was published by Hester Glock Press in Bristol. It starts with an epigraph, which is a quote from Bill Berkson and Frank O'Hara's daily poems, and it's St. Brigid's hymn to Philip Guston. April had rushed into May, covered with old prayer beads. It's followed by a couple of quotes on poetry as a daily practice. Sueyeun Juliette Lee says, "The livingness of poetry, how the creative use of language can be a praxis in your daily life." And Jessica Lowenthal says, "Livingness enacted through a form. The form of the sonnet allows dailiness to interact with historical form." One. This bed still, comfy and firm, but stained now, blood, sweat, piss, patches, open mouths, dripping water tank beside our heads, still drips to remind me of Sunday when nothing's right, connected and interlinked to fix the drip, revitalize the living, reminding me of how much work remains undone. 2. Azimuth in broken ribbed oak beams, earthing my feet on Eastbourne concrete, an easy stroll. My shadow seems so far away, dog walkers pass. A large crow, black peaked beak, dropping shells into a crowd, of stones to eat. Solid iron posts block the path, so CCTV can monitor my every step. Sinister Fitbit. Couples in coats eat ice cream. 3. It's Valentine's Day, so beetroot cacao lattes are half price in beans. Only £1.50, so I stay for 2 and write. Pink, brown, sweetish with almond milk in a small glass. Best latte in town. Yesterday I had a tall green matcha in urban ground, but I was sceptical of the whiteness of the almond milk heart, like tattoo art aesthetic. Before the hermit people came out naked, we talked all night while we ate, every meal we'd ever had and every beer we'd drunk, in every city in the world we've been together. 4. Travelling across Europe on a road trip, I can't speak Greek. Writing the trauma of reality, Brexit conservatism, drying skin and stagnant legs still cramped and so long, everybody's dead. Spring jostles with winter, climate strike, catch the fading sunlight, and daily practice is just that. 5. Jagadambe on a grey spring day, yellow lichen travel with protection. On the bus where everyone's vulnerable, when my kidneys are hypersensitive. The way things fold and bend and become true. The energy it takes to protect oneself in the unresolved trauma of being brought into this world. 6. Rustle it off with my fingers like paper wrapping, and my skin too. Chop, wash, measure, my thumbs make poems. Half cup cashews, raw magic, salt, pomegranate. Crumble the bean, temazcal, quantum sauna, gut feeling. 7. I am slowness compelled to utter, with half the world's oil. Making conscious my voice and remain like breath of the ocean, opalite, seaweed, gestures. 8. The Binney Sisters at Berlin Gap, Summer Solstice 2003, sonnet. To live on the edge of death and of the stars. 5 a day wave formation, mermaid legs and seaweed hair. Tits my work and uterus Alma, in process journal my sister selves. On stage, pink inside this aging body washed up on a beach made of shell. 9. Perpetual failure in material form, exile, displacement, hesitate. To insist one's own body, spun not by a network of blood and genes, always already this permeable darkness of the movie theatre. 10. 14 sonnet. Due harm has been done to our stardom and our exactitude with words. Got into a fight one time with a truck, under us something grey inside. Bring on the aspirin and bread, the vitamin C and gin once again. Making a random deliberate cause of some song like the one by Tom Verlaine. Woke, not wanting to be in life, women get sick and men die. Of chronicles and trials unnoticed. The flowers have pink, yellow, purple, all I know. A dirty wallet and a loyalty card, and wire and fluid. But a doll is a doll, some piercings and a pulsar. (11) Sally-Shakti Juliette 222. It's rigged love that strengthens us, shakes up relationships to stalking death. Traced all my footsteps back to literature, tarot begins like I in the center of Venus conjunct, comfort in shadow. Forget velvet lips, spice the blood, smoking hazy dreams behind refrigerated glasses. (12) Feeling my body alive for the first time, arches lift, I'm cat, I'm hare, rattle shaker too. Shaman woman in the snow with antlers and a deerskin drum become my body hips. Waning moonrise, ancient southern sky, illuminate black waves. 13. Black sheep made friends with monsters. Essex could be Kent, could be anywhere I grew up, really. It's the anger, plain hatred, fear at the heart of colonial, patriarchal, racist, white, British violence. It's the toxicity of what it means to be British. Blind trauma, keep its grip on power. I don't want to be who they are, this country's history. April 4th, 2011, in memory of Mark Duggan. 14. 14-line silence, sonnet. (15) Audre Lorde sonnet. My body is dreaming, standing upon the constant edge of decision, about to be birthed, ready to kill. Red blood decorates the snow. The skeleton future of our world whispers in our existence. Respect whatever you bring back from your dreams. The implementation of that freedom beyond fear. (16) Little ripples of static pulsating together inside your DNA, considered sacred, closer to peace. Ritual shivers break the current. Each cell dissolves, the skeleton in fractal relation throbs your body in great gulps and swelling velocity of quantum jazz. (17) breaking cups, smashed and smashing right against today's stagnation, challenges and limitations, all the damage caused by dogmatic separation, disconnection. Exit from the bus, step over threshold, get home and go within, face my crone self, dark moon winter, arise from pain, participate in syntax, a new cosmology. Finding a waning phase of resistance, turn towards introspection. Trauma body moving through me grips my kidneys with black-nailed claws. And the old lady dies every time. Red butterfly wing beats recreate this world in dry finger skin and greasy spots with burning black iron blade. Zodiac mosaic stratagems, a seance for tired eyes and bodies. Bound between red Russell Square phone boxes, cuffed and immobilized, in a blind hotel lobby, the weight of a teaspoon drinking a deeper bleed. Different vision, with gratitude and funky 80s soliloquy. Philotia water the seed of coffee release, this strange and exhausting day. Cold London morning, early March and dark moon, and noise and news and sirens and lights, as though death is the end of all things and always a tragedy. For this media narrativized family friction keeps us all asleep and unawake. Londoners prime their bodies before work. I feel the bleed seep between my labia again. Protective amulet number 1, after Lainey Brown. This sonnet will protect you, like a simile will protect you. Like deep sauna sweat can even dredge out heavy metal, like bloodstone scarab with double line separation between elytra and prothorax. Like higher anthocyanin intake, blueberries in winter, winged Isis. Like the smell of wet dog, is it me? Like a poem can be, a place to space your brain. New moon in Pisces sonnet. Naked bodies and snakes, an orgiastic hymn to fuse, but it isn't art. Painting nude self-portraits up to and including her limits. I had to try, reaching for the interior scroll. Don't take the advice of men who only talk to themselves. 23. Speak for the group. Consider written submissions, relevant and important. Open floor heavily. Agricultural land and soil quality, permanent severance, permanent loss. Emissions at the exit portals, rooting outside the world, heritage site, compulsory acquisition of habitats and species and identification with astronomical benefits. Raw, virgin and vulnerable, bones beside the fire, the empty wreck that you've become. Speak, physical, flee into exile, with bare human birth under occupation in protest, free all political prisoners not yet conscious of suicide soul retrieval, and what to do with all this trauma passing through. '25. Waxing base in magma, I shall go into a hair. Allow myself to hope, consult on how. Ardently into silence and mindful of the flip side, after the cold of writer. North of confession, outside the remit of this danger or conflict, and tell anyone who gives you grief that you are my friend, yes. '26. She dives again, so to swim, the sea inside my DNA. Submerged in seaweed, a nebulous spiral, ritual silver in the flood. Merlinite permeability breaks the current with shallowest of waves, forcing me open at the cleft of the swallow. '27. Sealed air, the only refuge, this path to power, ringing in bed all day and feeling the ache of egoic sex. I know, sister, let's get to zero. She don't leave the summer ring fence, delayed today, do not replay. '28. Indigo sirens register in safety the prospect of abundance. Fractal visionary empire lights out per trauma touched by interseasonal pull, slick like sustained tear drop bombs. Echo silver cumulus, embedded silhouettes of these burnt things, earth, plants, and blood. '29. Brilliant pink winter changed all the language. Crimson lips question her speaking. Tongue away concrete presence. What choice of unnecessary burden thinks us? Enunciate the place of production from its garnet red roots, sharply toothed. Totality shattering discourse. '30. I revel at the words, heavy presence, just writing out, in a tactile way, fleeting seeds, 1 hour at a time. Painted bodies stop, immediately refuse to move. Burn them, magic eggs, slow and raw, poke sunsets across the celestial equator. '31. Queen of swords wearing too much makeup brings me joy like the pain that aligns us with wolves. Living comeback in this sweet nation of poor sleepers and over 5 million disposable cups a day. Words abuse truth. Amplify it. Take off our armor down to the neck. We have agency in the face of. '32. Lockside cocktails and skin and sex and stress, cortisol. Intergenerational patterns, voices in the background, nuclear. intensity to catalyze deep change beneath the bridge, slip the city back to the sea, recruiting wider body with visibility of ancestors and reassuring smiles. 270 police officers are too busy and ignoring the calling. Automated jerk. (33) Mantra, sonnet. Shaped inside this judgment voicing blind, there's always another something on my mind. Repeat, it doesn't matter. Language yourself happy. Salt welling inside up to flow. Wake at 4 to work at fierce surrender. Open music to the sound and back. This is the dignity with which we must walk our incarceration. Feels really great to read those poems, those sonnets for Brigid. It's the first time I've read them all together like that since I originally launched the book. Actually, it was a pre-launch, it was before the book was published. But the first time I read all of the poems together from start to finish like that was in a place called the Mayday Rooms in London, just off of Fleet Street. Actually, in a small area where everything is named after Brigid. It's just around the corner from, or it's literally opposite St. Bride's Church. There's St. Bride's Tavern. There is St. Bride's Library and not a foundry, I'm not sure, maybe something like that. There's this whole little square, all named after Brigid, just off of Fleet Street, and it's to do with the well. It's to do with St. Bride's Well, the sacred spring that is or was there. There's lots of esoterica about London that other people know more about than I do, but that was the place in view of St. Bride's Church with this high steeple, and in alignment with, or in the energetic aura of St. Bride's Well, was where I first read these poems aloud, as I have done here from start to finish. It feels good to read them, I feel good to read them, and as I was moving through them I was really aware that there are so many quotations, citations, references with almost every poem, and there's a whole set of notes at the back that details all of the quotations and citations and all of the, or as many as I could of the references to these poems. So if you enjoyed hearing them, I do recommend grabbing a copy of this book if you still can, from Hester Glock Press, and taking some time with them on the page and referring to some of those notes as well, because it's really important for me to ethically acknowledge where some of those words, lines, themes and ideas have originated from and have come from, or at least where I have borrowed them from. So that is Unholy, 33 Sonnets for Brigid by me, Sally-Shakti Willow. Wishing you all a blessed Imbolc and what remains of this season before we move into the Aries equinox, which is coming around soon. So thanks for being here, and I'm sending you lots of love.